so sick. I love this beat. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you guys how to make a modern sounding rock song in FL Studio. Something that is, really epic sounding. Some people might classify this as stadium rock. Just something, full of emotion, full of power. The idea was actually suggested by a subscriber of this channel. Shout out to Salem EA, who was asking me to make an Of Monsters and Men type beat in FL Studio. And that's exactly what I did, and I want to break it down for you guys. So the beat that I'm going to show you guys is inspired by the album from Of Monsters and Men called Fever Dream. It's their most recent full-length album. There's a lot of really cool production things that I like about this album that I'm going to show you guys. One thing is that I found it to be some songs almost a little darker, a little bit more epic, more powerful than their previous works. And I've also noticed that they incorporate, some of these quote-unquote modern elements, like some trap style drums, like some hi-hat patterns, just a lot of really cool stuff that I want to break down for you guys. So let's hop into FL Studio and show you guys how to make a beat like that. Okay, so the first thing that I knew I needed was some sort of live drum loop. If you've noticed already in the channel, that's how I kind of start a lot of these rock beats, is I find a live drum loop. So I went over to Splice and I looked up some drum loops and I found this one, and this is what started the beat. So you have that drum loop. It's a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but the snares aren't playing on every fourth beat. Like the snares in the beginning of the beat, they start right before that beat actually starts. Which kind of just like gives it that almost swing, that emotion. So that was really cool. So that's what I started with for this beat. The second thing that I knew that I needed was some kind of trap drums, because that's what I heard on their album Fever Dream, especially the hi-hats. So I layered this drum pattern with some of my own programmed trap drum sounds that sound like this. And that progression, playing it at the same time as the rock drums, just, stacks the drums, make them a little bit more powerful, adds that extra oomph, especially with that trap kick, So the drums together sounded like this. And then also, just to give it an extra kind of something for that stadium rock feel, I got a snare that I added a bunch of reverb, and it just plays at the same time as the other snares, but it sounds like this. So something, big and powerful, right? And then the first thing that I did, after the drums to make that melody was I came up with a piano pattern. I wanted something in a minor scale, which means I wanted something, a bit sadder, a bit darker, kind of more, I don't know, like epic type sounding. I feel like I'm using the same words over and over, but this was basically just a basic kind of piano pattern that I came up with. It's not too intense. I mean, 4 chords, just kind of switches through them, but it kind of, carries you through the beat. So those with the drums sound like this. And that's basically a lot of the chunk of the beat came from the drums and these piano chords. So now I knew that I wanted a live bass pattern to capture that, true rock type of feel with the live sounding instruments. So I used the bass sound from Trillion VST. And I came up with this pattern. I'll play it at the same time as the piano chords so you guys can hear the pattern that I use for the bass. And it also, it's on this progression that sounds like it's strumming, like it's playing, kind of this chopped rhythm. I noticed on some songs from that recent album of Monsters and Men that they add these really cool, almost like guitar melodies throughout the beat, and the guitar melodies have a ton of reverb on them. You know, they just add to the atmosphere, something, you know, again, that drives out emotion. So I used a pretty basic guitar sound, and I just came up with a melody that sounds like this. So one thing that really stands out about this guitar pattern, and I'll play it at the same time with the chords, is I think this note right here. For some reason, this note that almost sounds like a I don't think it's called a half step, but it's just something that it just kind of like it portrays this emotion when I added that one note in there. But then to, you know, give it that feel and that atmosphere and that texture, I added a ton of reverb and a couple effects from Guitar Rig. So now the guitar sounds like this. I knew then, you know, to make sure I'm keeping that traditional rock sound with the guitars, I wanted to add a guitar kind of strum pattern. And I know that I could have, you know, played guitar and got something real, but to save time, I played this guitar pattern. I used the sound from Nexus, and I copied the same piano chords that I use, but similar to the bass, I added like a strumming pattern. So it sounds like this. Again, you know, but the trick to making these stadium rock type beats and giving a lot of power and emotion is adding some cool effects and a ton of reverb. So I put, you know, Valhalla Vintage Verb on it, added a ton of reverb. It sounds like this with the effects on it. Again, you know, I tried to capture that traditional rock sound, even though I didn't have a guitar with me and I could play it. So it sounds like this. But I noticed that I felt like it was still missing something with the beat. And if you've been a subscriber of this channel, you know that I use this plugin on so many beats. So I found this. This sound from Arcade. It's just like another guitar strumming pattern, just something to layer the guitars. Yeah, it's literally what it is, like a backing melody that just, you know, sits in the background, kind of helps the guitars out. The guitars now sound like this, those three guitar sounds, the melody, this backing melody, and the strums. It sounds like this. And the last kind of piece of the puzzle was again from Arcade, and I added this. Just some really, really ambient, you know, full of reverb sounding vocals that I added just to like the beginning of each bar. I mean, it just like it fills the space up, adds something in the background, you know, fully panned out there with all the reverb, and it sounds like this. I'll play it without the drums. And then when you add in the drums, I'm gonna wrap up the video there, but if there's any suggestions for other beats that you guys want me to make, please let me know in the comments. I still have a few suggestions from you guys that I'm cycling through because I really want to get to every one, but I love reading all the comments and the suggestions, and the support so far has been amazing, so I can't thank you guys enough. I recently just passed 600 subscribers on this channel. I'm having so much fun making these videos. Also, before I wrap this up, I want to let you guys know that I am working on a free loop kit, a free melody kit that's going to be coming, you know, really soon to the channel. That's going to have patterns and progressions and melodies like this beat that you guys can use in your beat. That's going to come really soon. I'm working hard to get that out ASAP. I really can't wait for you guys to, you know, hear the loops in this pack. It's going to be awesome. So thank you guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace.